We are chock full today, just so you know. So I hope you brought your brains with you. What I'll try to do is just streamline a couple of things, but whenever we get together, there's a lot to talk about. So I'm just gonna kind of hover and do this live, basically. One is I'll talk about the dashboard and some different products and services that you might just want to write down and either ask me about or just go into. Also, I do have some slides for the mobile apps that I'll go into next. Again, you can just write those down, put those on a list of things to do. And I'll kind of tell you the why as to why you would want those on your phone. In addition to the mobile apps, we're going to do a little customization because the market is changing every day. So one of the things I wanted to do for the workshop was just to allow you to customize your own market watch. If you're in an area that you're not familiar with and you want to go out that day and you just need to see everything in a little snapshot, I can do that for you today. So I always, think of you sitting here, with takeaways, and I think that will be great as well. And then, I've talked to a lot of agents. We talk to people all the time. That's all I do is talk and listen and help. But reverse prospecting is something that I found that not a lot of agents know about. And when you do have a listing and you're needing to kind of plug it along, I think it's a great tool for you to understand how reverse prospecting works in FMLS. It's been a key ingredient, a key tool that you really just want to work into your marketing plan when you are presenting to a customer, to try to get a listing, and also work the listing as you do showings, etc. So we'll talk about that. And then a biggie right now is public records. And people ask me all the time, what tools do you have, Sallie, for public records? Which one should I use for which? And so I'll just kind of expand your knowledge on not only the Realist product with public records, but Remind nationwide. And we've been educating our membership about Remind and everything that it offers. There's a couple of new things that have come into Remind as well that I think will help you understand its predictive analytics and some data that it's taking that I think will help you kind of start some goals right now and achieve them in 2025. And then comp reports, I always tell people those are actually easy once you know what it is you're trying to look for and you know your subject property. So I will just review the quick CMA with you to make sure you're familiar with that tool, no matter what listings. And then just a quick look at statistics where if you need a one-page report, we do have a product called Market Stats where you can just click on Fast Stats and generate some statistics for a customer or yourself very quickly. And then when you want me to stop, just because I put in a lot of information.
Okay, that's okay.
So
you're good. Keep going.
Okay. No, this is great. So I'll streamline, what I actually say, but these are some great topics that span several products, and so I think that's super helpful for you as well. So the first thing that I want to talk about are the apps. That's usually the first question I get from a new agent or an agent who's just saying, I got a lot of apps to choose from. What are some ones that you recommend that FMLS provides? So I see everybody writing. That makes me super happy. MLS Touch is probably the #1 app that you would like if you want to have the extension of Matrix to your FMLS, mobile tools, if you will. So if you have not heard of MLS Touch, it is all the Matrix listings, on that app. It's the blue colored app. I have a screen for it as well. But you can go to the App Store or the Play Store and put in, when you download it, your FMLS credentials. So it's the same username and password as you would use to get into Matrix, to get into FMLS. And it pulls down all your contacts in Matrix, all your saved searches. It has access to all the listings in the database. Plus, it ties into the public record. So if you get out of the car and you just want to open up, let's say in Buford, the app, you would be able to do that and see the listings and also tap on public records, right next to it. And, again, I know you have other apps to use as well, but, you always want to have a plan A, plan B, and convenience factor as well. So this one, I'll go into in just a minute, but that would be #1. I would definitely pop that app onto your phone. Remind, how many of you have even heard of Remind? Oh, that makes me so happy. That's a nationwide tool, just so you guys know. So any property is fair game in that tool. So if you said, do you have a nationwide public records database for us in addition to the FMLS listings coming into that tool? The answer would be Remind. And so you definitely want to have that app as well. It'll it's very easy to download the app and get in. And again, I'll hang around, and if you want to download it, today. The only caveat with that is you have to already go in on the computer and click on Remind through the FMLS login. So you're accepting the end user license agreement on the computer first before you can tether the app. Does that make sense? Okay, good. So if you don't have Remind, that's a must if you want nationwide. If somebody gives you a call and you don't want to open up your computer and you just want to have your phone and you're traveling and you want to see where you are and see what the real estate is all about, that's the app for you. Forewarn is also an account that you have with FMLS. You can actually go into FMLS and go click on the dashboard. It is to vet clients that you're not familiar with. If you're just trying to needing an app for safety, measures to kind of just check out things before you actually go show property and in that.
Can I add one thing to that? Sure. So we had a situation here about 6 months ago that an agent got a call from a gentleman that sounded kind of sketchy. And so she used Forewarn and found out that he had a history, and he actually showed up at our market center for this human that he did not have an appointment with, that found out where her market center was. And we actually got the police involved. So please, please, please use that, because it was the one to kind of solidify that gut feeling of something doesn't feel right. The conversation was weird. So this is a tool that's out there. Please utilize it, because it matters.
Yeah. And I'll show you a screen on it too. You can just hop in a phone number that they give you, and it'll run the reports and stuff that you need. So I think that's super helpful too.
It's free from
yes. We provide it to all of our members, and that's what I was going to say. A lot of these products that I'm talking about, it's like I call it one-stop shopping, like a fully furnished house. You just come into FMLS, you click on the product, accept your end user license agreement, and from day one, you have access to all that. So, it's really in your best interest to check out the products.
I've visited a couple times and the numbers come up listed or not found.
Yeah. I do not know the answer to that question. Forewarn might though.
Okay.
I'm sure there's, just like people are on a do not call list or a do not mail list or an unlisted. I don't know how they handle that.
Okay.
Great question though. Sorry. You get a pen. Showing Time is the other app. People use Showing Time inside like MLS Touch. They'll use it inside FMLS listings. But that's also an app that you can download, and it has about 98% of the functionality that you would see on the computer version on the app version too. So if there's a couple tweaks you need to make, maybe there's some blockout times you need to do for a listing real quick, having the app is super helpful. And also the near me function is super helpful. When you get out of a car and you're showing a property and they go, well, what about that property right across the street? And you're like, we didn't talk about that one today. Yeah. And so you can click on the near me and it'll just, geocode where you are and allow you to see the property and tap on it and, schedule a showing depending on how the listing is set up from the listing agent. All these apps have that geocoding, so they know where you are when you step out of your car, and that's super helpful to get to an area to research property or to do this, that, and the other. So
can you show us how you got it?
Yes, I will. So first, hopefully y'all can see this. I just want you to, I'm a visual person, so even if we're not doing hands-on per se today, just seeing the app and kind of the way MLS Touch works, you would just kind of come in, see the main functionality down here, and then under here, you can go straight to search and get to the search screen and get the listings. But you can also go to the contacts area. You can go to your saved searches area and see the tether in Matrix. So I highly recommend that. It also has a great stats tool where if you're on the map inside MLS Touch, when you're looking at the listings and stuff, let's say you have 10 listings on the screen, you could just tap statistics and it'll run stats on those 10 listings, which is great. So I love that. And, there's so much you can do that you're used to inside Matrix, if it's just looking up an address or, popping in a number or looking up a city, you're more than welcome to do that. Again, I'm not trying to rush, but I know you have a set time for your
You're
meeting.
okay, you're okay.
So,
I'm watching.
forewarn looks like this, and basically, I would just say the main thing is to verify anyone who's part of a transaction. You got to be careful about that. You can't just go look up any person. Think about it as being transaction related. And forewarn does training on that. Like, we defer to them for all their rules and policies and crossing T's and dotting I's, because you can sometimes people can overstep. So, we want them to explain the product and how to effectively use it, and it's all over our database, but the account is yours. Okay. Remind app looks like this. When you go to download it, again, you have to already have accepted the end user license agreement, but it's coral color, and you basically say, I'm an agent. Everybody say, I'm an agent. Because sometimes you accidentally click on more the client version of the app. And again, these are things that have to be shared between agent and client. But if you just download it and say, I want to start a journey, it's going to think you're a client versus an agent. Okay. So agents always get more, which is great. So you just basically download the app, and then it'll say enter your MLS email. It's your FMLS email address on file. And then your agent number is your agent ID. Like mine would be Mobley S, the uppercase, the username that you're popping in. And then you're good to go. It'll find you. And it looks like this. And if you know anything about Remind, it does do predictive analytics. So if you're like, I know Joy very well, and you're needing to take a look at rates that people got, it could be in that area, people have higher rates, might be an opportunity for them to refinance and partner with some of your lenders to kind of say, hey, this might be a great opportunity for you to either refi, or sometimes they'll say, I want to sell my home, and then use your information, with that lending information to try to buy a new home. So there's a lot of opportunity in the Remind tool, and the layering is amazing. It is so fun. I love layering. Okay. So, again, this app too, all the apps do this. They kind of come into a main screen, and down here, you just want to look for the functionality where it says search. And then that's where you can search on the map to go look at the listings in the area or the property records, etc. So think about that. And when you get close in, not only can you see listing information, but you can tap on these layers that can kind of help you understand that area a little bit better than just going in and seeing who the owner is, let's say. Showing time app looks like this. The near me function is when you come into the app, it'll say like my listings, and then you have a near me right up in here. So you're looking for the words near me. Sometimes in an app, like the near me is on the map itself. It's like geocoding where you are. Just you. It's like an arrow. So you're looking for near me, and if you can't find it right now in the Showing Time app, I'm certainly happy to show you that. It's very easy once you see where it lives. And then, okay.
Can you show us is there a way on the app, maybe not on the app, but on the website, where you can promote like an open house? If you post it in Showing Time, you can send it out to the agents that have shown the house.
Are you talking about promoting, like just to
host an open house? Like you're having an open house, sending a message to.
Not through Showing Time.
Oh.
Showing Time does not have that. It's a great question.
You can send it. You can send a message to everybody who's shown the product.
Yeah, who's shown it. Yeah. Okay.
So Supra, has a lot of functionality built in too, but Showing Time, like where they're like in our preferences in that area is basically setting up your listing preferences and then your showing preferences, basically. So there is a messaging capability, just so you know, inside the tool, but I don't know, like specifically the open house, like it would be just, standard to any message, if your contacts are in there. So I can go into that area and we can look at messaging and see what you can do there for sure. But that's that app. And hopefully you got at least the minimum there. Just escape out of that and on over here. That, there are apps that would be super helpful to you, especially if you get out your computer all day, every day, and you don't want to do that anymore. Sometimes it takes 5 or 10 minutes to kind of get things booted up and, move in. The other thing about apps that I'll say is you can bookmark firstmls.com on your phone. Did y'all know that? So I do that a lot. I just get out my phone, tap on FMLS. Yeah, I've got to pinch a lot as well. Okay, so let's take a look at this for just a second. This is the dashboard. Have y'all noticed that it's changed over the last year? So what it's sectioned is what I would say. And then the other thing is that on the right, we have what we call a product of the month now. And so we invite our vendors in to come do like webinars and things like that to get you stronger in the product. So these products, we're kind of rotating through a product of the month, if you will. And we first start out on the dashboard. Pretty much all products that we have a dashboard look and feel. And so the first one would be of importance for those of you who need to check your account, your email address on file, your phone numbers, all that good stuff, double check that. And then if you need to register for any training, your kind of to-do list is to, let's say, take a Remind class or a stats class, etc. That's listed here, plus our knowledge base, plus we record YouTube videos. And we've been doing Tech Tip Tuesday, pretty much every Tuesday with a less than 5-minute video on a piece of functionality that we think that you should, know. So all that's listed in this training area. Plus we have a knowledge base where we write up all the materials about the products just to help you get stronger. And there's way more on here than I have time to talk about. But the main thing is when you do sign in, your ID goes to all these products. Do you see what I'm saying? That we call that single sign-on. So it's super helpful just to make sure your account is good to go, is what I would say. All right. So as we scroll, the product directory is listed over here on the left. And you're going to see Matrix. You'll see Remind right in here. And I'm going to come into Matrix first and just kind of talk about a couple things in Matrix, like the Market Watch widget and some good stuff there. Everybody all right? Yes. All right. Just tell me if I'm going too fast. All right. And the mobile apps, definitely we went through fast. But I just want you to have the names and download those. And of course, I can answer questions with you and your phone. All right. So this is Matrix. And I do want to share with you that you can pull the widget, that you like the best up to the middle of the screen or the top of the screen. You can drag those widgets up. And, when we talk about the industry right now, like listings coming in and pendings happening and people telling you, oh, nothing's happening, Sallie, or this, that, and the other. I always beg to differ, and I go straight to this widget is what I would share with you because there's a lot happening. So the first thing that I want to just show you is how to customize this. Mine's already customized, so yours doesn't look like mine. I'm going to press reset right now. And if you clicked on residential right here and you clicked 7 days, you're asking for 7 days worth of activity, in the database. And all these buckets come up of new listings, pendings, price decreases. And when you click on those, you'll get all that data and you can sort that data accordingly. You can also, instead of going 7 days, you can do 24 hours today, 3 days, whatever works for you and get like a week's worth of activity, if you will. So if you've got a hot client and you need to know about something that happened today, since midnight, you could click on today right now and I could go in and I could click on, new listings and show you in this area all the new listings just by sorting this so that city says, alphabetically like Beaufort. You know what I mean? So if I see a listing in Beaufort, I could check it off, send it to my client. That's a real good way to use this widget. But another good way, say it with me, is to customize the widget. Okay, good. We're on the same page. All right. So if I go back to, if you said, I'm tired of doing that. I'd rather, make the widget work for me today. And let's say you work all of Gwinnett County and you want everything, or you just want Beaufort, or you just want a certain zip code. You could customize this whole residential market watch to that market. And every time you come in and you click on one of those buckets, you'll get stuff that meets that criteria, if you will. So here's residential right here at the bottom. You'll see all the other property types listed below it. And then the customize button is to the right of that, down below where the date is. Can y'all see that, or do I need to move it up? Okay. So if I click on customize, this is going to freak you out a little bit since we've all been together. We've had a couple changes in our data shares, if you will. But you'll be able to customize to FMLS, Gulf Coast, and East Alabama, which I'm going to discuss in just a minute. Sometimes people just want the FMLS listings. You know what I mean? They're like, hey, I'm a Georgia person. I just want to see what's in FMLS. So you could press customize, click FMLS, and then click save, and then it's customized to only FMLS stuff, if you will. All right, that's the first thing. Second thing is, I'll just do, for instance, Gwinnett, if that's okay. But you'll get the trick. You basically click customize, and you pick, I'll do for county, right here, Gwinnett County. That's how easy this is. I could do multiple counties. If you work in Jackson, Gwinnett, and let's say Cobb, you know, whatever works for you works for me. You just separate by comma, you know, all those pieces of criteria, and then you come down and you press save. So sometimes people will do bigger like that just because they want the whole market watch to speak to them, if you will. And so right in here, today in Gwinnett, you can see that there have been 10 listings added. And again, when you think about time frame, like what day we're on today and when listings close, you'll see X amount of closings, etc. So I went back 7 days, and this is a nice overview of what's happened in Gwinnett County in the last 7 days. So all I have to do, for instance, I'll just do new listings. Here's a list of new listings they're all going to be in Gwinnett County because that's my market watch. Mm-hmm. And so if next week, you know, it's a different county or a different city, you just reset and then customize your widget, and then you're good to go. So I did want you to see that you do have a nice customization there, okay? And then what I'll do is I'm going to go to the add edit piece right over in here. Well, I'm going to go to my matrix, and then I'm going to go to my listings. This is the reverse prospecting area. So you can customize the Market Watch widget. And let's just say you get a call from a customer and they say to you, hey, you know, it's a rainy day. Is anybody gonna, you know, come to my property? What are you doing as part of your marketing plan to help me? You can totally blurt out reverse prospecting. Everybody say it, reverse prospecting. Okay, so you can check off a listing of yours that's active, and then all you do is you come down here and you click reverse prospect. And what that does is it gives you agents who have a buyer who have similar criteria to your listing. And this would be a whole group of people to be able to call because they still have an active buyer looking for similar property characteristics that your listing offers. And so if you've ever seen that before, or if you haven't seen that before, it's a very easy thing to do. And you can kind of balance that against your showing time activity, your super activity. If this is an agent that you know, you could literally click on them, and then it'll start the email out. You can say, hey, I have this listing at, you know, 123 Main Street. What would it take to get your buyer, you know, to come back to this property? So again, a nice little tip there. Yes.
Is there a chance that you just your way to out?
No. Yeah, it's not a spam kind of thing. What it is a specific email to that person, because the whole goal is to get them that email and not have it rejected. You know, there's so many different things that play into that. So it literally is a list. It's a great question, but you know, outside of the system, you can kind of create your list also. But here it's a one person at a time. Great question. Okay. I'll move over to public records since we're kind of at the tail end of this. And what I'm going to share with you is a new way to search for public records is to hover over search and then click on public records right there. And when you do that, I don't know if you've ever done that before. When you click search in public records, it's like a matrix-like theme, if you will, of the screen. If you need an entire neighborhood or a street, all you have to do, like I'll do Ivy Station right here. I can literally click right there for street name and click more and do more street names. And then when I click on results, I didn't have to put in county, by the way. I know. And I could literally tell you on that street every name. I could tell you who's, sold the highest, who's owner occupied, yes or no. Very easy. Plus, I can click all right here and I can click, for instance, print and get you guys for the owner property address, mailing labels in less than 5
Okay,
seconds.
do that one more time.
Yeah, I know. I drink water. Who does that? So if you hover over search right here and you come down to this public record, I mean, there's so much that I could just pull out of here. But basically, you can search for owner names, you can search for subdivisions. I would say just take a street, pop in the street. If you know the city that the street is in, that's super helpful too, because that kind of narrows down, instead of 159 counties, you're going, oh, this one's in Duluth. And then it goes, oh, I found everybody on that street. I know, it's a game changer.
It's
God.
And so, yeah. So basically what you do is you get to the results right here, and then you just click on all, not the checkbox, because checkbox is by page. So you always want to say all, okay? And then you come down to the word print. You click print right here. And when you click on print, you would literally be able to see the mailing label formats. I would highly recommend owner property address as the mailing label choice, and then click print to PDF. And that's a very quick way to get mailing labels for a street.
Yo,
Wow.
mind blown.
Yeah, so I love that for you guys. I also love
Write it down.
I also love that you can click on, like, for instance, any public record or any FMLS listing, whether it's selected or not, and you can get a bird's eye view, like a comp report right here. Have y'all done that yet? If you haven't, I'm super sad.
That would be great for open
Okay.
houses.
If you click on view comparable properties, if it's a listing, I don't know if you've seen this button, but it's always in the top right. When you do that, it'll pull back 20 properties for you. That it kind of just gives you a little market information. And when you click view report, you've got all that data into like a 2-page report. And so those are properties that have sold recently, that are just on the market, similar to your property as well. So view comparable properties, that's new since last time we've probably gotten together as well. And then again, I'll be out here after. So if you have specific questions, that's great. I do want to just say one last thing. The data share thing has like, we were the first to initiate that discussion. And a lot of agents are like, explain that to me again, Sally. What does that really mean? If you look over here on the left, in searching, you're going to see all these MLSs. That means your listing gets exposure in their databases as well. So, for instance, Stellar MLS is the Orlando area, okay? That's the 3rd largest MLS in the country. We're the 4th largest MLS in the country. Those MLSs, California, Chattanooga, Alabama, so it's regional plus, where we see people, moving from these places to Georgia or vice versa. So what we're doing for you is we're building a referral network for you to refer out, but also a listing exposure network for you so that you can tell your seller that, hey, I'm doing everything that I can to get you the most exposure possible for this listing. Not only is it going to go into the listing database of 57,000, real estate agents using FMLS, but it's going to go to 425,000 partnerships / data shares that this listing is seen live in, plus all the third-party feeds that the listing gets, nationwide. So that's several of them right there. And then up here, and again, you can just switch over to that data to search that data. Up here in the, do you see where it says more right here? If you've ever seen data partners and you're like, what is that? Like Omni MLS is Latin America. Who knew? Miami MLS, the Miami down in Florida. You've got Williamsburg, all these partnerships where your data is being seen by those professionals. So it's exposure, and it's also a great referral network. We've got people that do referrals all the time. So super happy about that. And then can I just say one last thing?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
So Vanessa, if we have Sally come back to teach more, will people be here? Yes, okay.
One last thing is the quick CMA also. I did promise you, a market like stats. So there's the quick CMA. All you have to do, you guys, all you have to do is go to the search screen and then say how far out you want to be from the subject property. I don't care what that address is. So if you want to be 1 mile from, the address, and you can use your own address today. All right. It'll say, did you mean this address? And you're like, yeah, that's not a listing, that's an address, okay? So I need 1 mile from the school, I need 1 mile from wherever. And again, you'd probably prioritize sold listings, closed right here. All right. So closed listings 1 mile from the subject property that are, let's say, 3-bedroom homes that have sold in the last 6 months. It's very easy to do this. And all you're doing is getting those results to figure out what has sold. Okay, it's just like a search. And then when you want to check those, again, all, and then you come down and you say, oh, I want to do that quick CMA that Sally told me about. It's down at the bottom. Instead of pressing print, you're just pressing quick CMA, and that will generate a report like no other and give you highs, lows, averages, medians. This is for any listing. You can check them all off and do the quick CMA. And we love this report. Like, I won't let us have a new system without this report. It is formatted for you. It's got great data on it with regard to days on market, cost paid by seller, sell prices, original list prices, and all that good stuff. And then lastly, guys, prayer, I'm coming out. If you go to statistical reports, they're up here on the main screen. And also market stats is in the product directory. So if you have a presentation this afternoon and you don't have time to get market stats and you have a need, you could just come over here. You can click on market stats right here. This is, how many of you been into this product before? Okay, that makes me super happy too. We need to get a little more there. But bottom line is you come into market stats and then you go 2 over from info sparks to fast stats. Everybody say that with me. Fast stats. So here, if you click fast stats, and then you click on, for instance, Gwinnett County, and you click on, I'll just do Duluth, 30097, you immediately have a 1-page report that makes you look really good. And that's how I'm going to end, because, again, there's just so much to talk about. But hopefully you're understanding that there's a lot of power in this data, and all you have to do is either, figure out what you want to search for and then ask us, or just kind of come into this system and start, seeing how you can work better with it. Thank you.
So data is power. And power is what? Knowledge. That's right.
Okay,
Um,
so we're good, and then I also have these to hand out. Okay, sorry.
no, you're good.
I'll get off.
So, what would you guys like to see Sally come back and teach on? Is there anything somebody didn't ask? Please go.
This might sound crazy, but, like entering listings, I know how to do it, but there's Remind, there's Paragon, and there's Matrix, and I never know which is the best one to use, and like updating it and all that kind of, I know how to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't matter because we sort of, it doesn't matter, right? I'm just curious about that and how you.
So for
I
us,
But it may not even matter. People just may somebody do all that. I just like to know for my own.
Yeah.
Does that make sense, my question? Okay.
Does.
Because I know I entered one in Remind, and then I was having to update some pictures and stuff, and it wouldn't let me. Like I had to save each one and didn't. So I went to Matrix, and then I was able to fix it all.
yeah.
You know
So
what I mean?
Matrix is the hub, is what I would say. Matrix Ad Edit is the hub for listings. And Remind has the Ad Edit as well, where you can start out there. Wherever you start out, you want to stay. That's what I would say.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to explain it. Even though, the data goes back and forth between all those 3 systems. But if you're a Matrix person, do the Ad Edit through Matrix. And if you happen to do it in Remind Ad Edit, stay there and add and edit the information, unless it's something that you have to change there. It can only be done through Matrix. And then of course,
So it doesn't really matter which one you just pick one and.
no.
Okay.
It really doesn't. Okay.
Hey, Dara, this is June. I have a question.
Hey, big chat.